Hey there and welcome back to XCOM. My name is Pete and today we complete another episode of our XCOM Enemy Within Ironman Impossible walkthrough. Before we begin, however, two quick things. First of all, it seems like I made a small mistake, or rather overlooked the effect that the battle scanner has on the cloaking ability of the Seekers that we encountered in the last episode. I have read all of your comments pointing out that they lose their stealth not because of a bug like I originally feared, but instead because of the scanner, which makes total sense and simply seems to have slipped my mind. So thank you for reminding me, otherwise I probably would have assumed something was off for a few more episodes, despite having played through the game several times now. My second point is then regarding an achievement that we unlocked in the last episode, one that I also entirely missed because its description is admittedly a bit unclear. I am talking about the Worth Every Penny achievement, which is unlocked after, and I quote, acquiring 1000 credits in 1 month. Now, the phrase acquiring confused me a bit because I assumed the 1000 credits had to be earned as part of the monthly council report, where, after all monthly expenses, we only obtained roughly 900 credits. However, the achievement actually refers to all funds that are acquired throughout the entire month, and it does not take into account the expenses, so we did in fact unlock it with the council report last episode. So let's mark that one off as completed as well. This is now already achievement number 13 in this playthrough, but with quite a few more still left to go, I'd say it's time to jump into today's episode and to begin our third month in XCOM Enemy Within. And we'll start this one with some scanning, because in just 2 days we will finish the construction of our next facility. And here we are, that is another power generator constructed, so we once again have enough juice to build a few other facilities. However, before we do so, we will actually immediately start the construction of another generator, because the 9 units of power we currently have to spare will not last long. As you can see, we are also slowly running out of space to build on the second level, so let's build ourselves another access lift to unlock the level below. The lift will only cost 50 credits and 2 units of power, so we can easily afford it. On the left side, meanwhile, we will not build anything yet. This spot right here will eventually house another satellite uplink, but for now we can't actually construct one because we're missing one single engineer. The uplink needs 30 on staff, but we only have 29. Now, we could get that one very easily by simply building a workshop, but maybe we're lucky and we can grab one from a mission in the next few days, so let's wait for a while before we spend additional resources. And speaking of waiting, that is also what we have to do now, so let's continue scanning.
The cybernetic interfaces are holding stable, but they're of no use without a cybersuit to interface with. I suggest we manufacture one immediately. When our new mech trooper equips that suit, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised with its capabilities.
Alright, here we are with our very first mech trooper, and completing the augmentation process unlocks the Who Needs Limbs achievement. Nicholas Mahoney has now permanently been augmented with mechanized body parts, but as Dr. Shen just mentioned, those won't do him any good without a proper suit of armor, which is technically the actual mech, by the way. And building such a mech costs a few credits and 40 units of melt, so it's not too pricey. Once constructed, we can then pick a tactical subsystem, essentially an ability if you will, however one that belongs to the mech suit itself and not to the soldier wearing it. And for this first subsystem we can choose between the flamethrower and the kinetic strike module. The flamethrower is a ranged attack that can be used twice per mission, does 6 points of damage in a cone extending outwards, and ignores cover, for the most part at least. The kinetic strike module, on the other hand, is a powerful melee attack that does 12 points of damage, can be used an unlimited amount of times, and can be used both against enemy targets as well as against structures like walls. Now, normally I prefer the kinetic strike over the flamethrower, but our mech trooper Nicholas was once a support class soldier, and as such he now has the ability to boost the defense of everyone around him. Needless to say, this ability becomes less useful when Nicholas always dashes ahead of the group to punch aliens, which is why we will go with the flamethrower instead. This ability should also allow him to rack up a few quick kills against weaker enemies and therefore speed up the leveling process. But fear not, we will most definitely construct ourselves a second mech soldier soon, who will then go for the more up-close and personal approach. Now at this point we only need to have Nicholas actually put on the mech suit to fully complete the process. However, before we can do that, we can see here that Nicholas is technically ready for a promotion. He has not earned a rank, but instead he has switched classes entirely, from a support soldier to a mech trooper, a class which comes with its very own skill tree. And the first ability in this class is Collateral Damage, an area of effect attack that destroys cover and deals a bit of damage, but also consumes all of Nicholas' ammunition and forces him to reload on the next turn. And with this ability unlocked, we can now finally have him put on his brand new suit of armor, which we equip just like every other piece of armor. Unlike every other piece of armor, however, it grants a substantial health bonus, which it probably also should, considering that mechs are too large to take cover.
The flamethrower stream will burn not only the cone our mech trooper targets, but will spill into nearby areas as well.
To complete the overview here, a quick look at the mech's main weapon, which is a large minigun. Its stats are mostly identical to that of the laser rifle, but it consumes ammo at a faster pace. And that's all. Last but not least, we will equip Nicholas here with a nice helmet that fits his mech suit, and I like this one right here, which still shows a few of his facial features while still fitting the overall aesthetic of the mech. And with a fully operational mech in our ranks, I would say it's finally time to continue scanning. Up next, we have some news from the research labs as we complete the research of Carapace Armor. This is a brand new type of armor for all of our troops and will increase their health quite substantially, by 4 points to be exact. The armor still needs to be purchased. One suit costs 10 alien alloys and some credits, so outfitting an entire squad is possible, albeit not cheap, at least regarding the alloys. Now, as a result of completing this project, we could immediately start researching a further armor improvement with the skeleton suit. However, we have reached a point where we should start to take care of some of the quicker to complete projects, because their benefits will be absolutely vital very soon, so let's start with experimental warfare, which unlocks a new facility, a few neat items and a brand new weapon for our fighter jets. And with Carapace Armor unlocked, it is now time to buy a few suits. On lower difficulties, actually purchasing this armor can oftentimes be skipped, as soldiers should be able to survive on the regular armor suits until the skeleton suit is unlocked, but on impossible difficulty we won't take that risk, and instead we will buy 5 suits, keeping in mind that we have a mech trooper now who will likely join us for the next mission and already has his very own suit of armor. We will, however, not equip the new suits just yet, because I have not yet decided who will actually accompany us on the next mission, as that might also depend on what kind of mission that will be. Therefore, for now, all we can do is to continue scanning.
Satellite coverage now available over Japan, the United States.
And our research team works without interruption and has now finished the next project, Experimental Warfare. This is a standalone project that does not unlock any further research, but it does unlock a few other useful things, among them the Phoenix Cannon, a new gun for our jets, and the Foundry, a brand new facility where we can acquire several handy upgrades. Apart from that, we have also unlocked Reaper rounds, an ammo upgrade for conventional weapons, so not for laser rifles or anything like that, which increases critical hit chance by 20%. And as I mentioned, we can now also build the Foundry, a facility where we can purchase useful upgrades for items, weapons and armors. The Phoenix Cannon is now also available for purchase, and we will buy ourselves a few in just a moment and equip our fighter jets with this new weapon. Finally then, we have unlocked the Flashbang Grenade, which imposes aim and movement penalties on enemies and can be very handy in the right situation as well. With experimental warfare research, the list of potential projects has been reduced a bit, and we will now focus on that priority project at the top here and have a closer look at 3 of the sectoid corpses we recovered in our very first mission as we begin the Xenobiology project. And with that project underway, we can quickly stop by in engineering because we have a few purchases to make. We will not buy a flashbang grenade for now, but instead we will buy 1 unit of Reaper rounds, because there is 1 soldier in our squad who can, at least for the moment, really benefit from this upgrade, and for 18 credits it is still very affordable. And up next we will then buy 5 Phoenix cannons. We have 10 fighters at the moment, 2 on each continent, but for the moment it should be enough to equip only half of them with this new weapon. For only 9 credits apiece, we are handily able to afford more, but for now 5 should do just fine. However, before we equip them on our jets, we can make a quick stop in the barracks and select Assault Adam work. Adam is currently fighting with a regular shotgun, which makes him the perfect candidate to test out the Reaper rounds. The shotgun already has a high crit chance and the Reaper rounds further increase that, but they also double the aim penalty when firing over longer distances. However, shooting over long distances, that is not at all what we plan to do with Adam, and so he should be able to benefit from this upgrade, even though it removes the grenade from his inventory. So, and with all of this out of the way, we can take care of our aircraft fleet. In the hangar, we can see that all 10 of our jets are currently equipped with the default Avalanche missiles. Stats-wise, those missiles have the advantage of a long firing range, but at the cost of a slow firing rate and improvable accuracy, while overall they do not inflict much damage. So let's switch this fighter here over to the Phoenix Cannon, which will take 24 hours. Put simply, the Phoenix Cannon is basically the opposite of the missile. It fires extremely fast, but only in close range, where it is also much more accurate. However, it does not do more damage per shot, it simply fires much more often, if the fighter can get close enough. I think it still is an upgrade over the missiles, but not one that is absolutely essential for all 10 ships, so let's put the 5 cannons we have on 1 fighter on every continent, and then we can continue scanning. Just a few hours later, we then complete the construction of the next power generator, but the access lift should be done in a few seconds as well, so let's wait for a short while longer. And here we are, we now have both enough power and enough space to expand our base, so let's start excavating on the 3rd level to make some room for new facilities. Since it is the 7th of May and we did not yet receive any engineers, we will also construct a workshop now. It will take 10 days for that to finish, leaving us with just enough time to build the next satellite uplink. Chances are high that we do in fact receive more engineers before the workshop is finished, but I wouldn't want to bet on it, and I think it's best to make sure. If we do actually obtain engineers before the construction is complete, we can cancel the project to get some resources back and focus on other facilities instead. But for now, let's put our engineers to work and continue scanning through the month.
You're telling me that we should risk the lives of our troops so we can take one of these things alive?
Yes. Without a live specimen, I'm afraid we've reached the pinnacle of what my team is able to accomplish.
And how do you suggest we do this, Doctor?
The autopsy I've just completed confirms that the alien's physiology is quite similar to our own. A highly concentrated electrical current delivered at close range should cause
Close range? And what happens if it doesn't work? Do you really think this is worth the risk?
I do. We do not know our enemy. How can we hope to stop something that we do not understand? If we can capture one of these creatures alive, we may be able to communicate with it.
And interrogate it. Find out what they want. Where they're operating from.
Yes. That possibility outweighs all risks, in my opinion. I can construct a safe enough facility to house our captive, but I do not know how we could possibly communicate with it.
Not to worry. I will see to that.
All right. I'll speak to the commander.
And that would be the Xenobiology project completed. We did receive a short cutscene, because this is a project that advances the game's storyline, and as you can see here, we now have a new objective. We need to capture a live alien. To do so, we first need to develop a device that allows us to stun an alien, the arc thrower, and we also need to construct a facility where we can safely house that alien, the alien containment facility. And as a matter of fact, that facility is ready to be constructed right now. The arc thrower, on the other hand, needs to be researched first. And while that is once again marked as a priority project, we can also see that completing Xenobiology has unlocked alien autopsies of all corpses that we have found so far. And there is one that gives us a handy bonus that we can probably make use of very soon when the next UFO appears, and that would be the floater autopsy, so let's get working on that immediately.
Although I'm sure you can make the connection yourself, we've designated this particular specimen as a floater. The research team is continuing in its efforts to determine how the aliens prevented the organic tissue from rejecting the mechanical components, as they seem to work in perfect harmony with one another.
Despite the immediate cutscene, the autopsy will take a few days to complete. That might change in the future once we obtain another continent bonus, but for now we'll have to remain patient. Alright, just 1 single minute into the scanning process, we finally reveal some alien activity, and it seems like we are about to dive headfirst into the next abduction mission. However, as much as I would like to complete that mission right here and now, we will have to make the cut right here and take a closer look at this mission next time. I am unfortunately still very busy at the moment. The time I spent on the road in May is catching up with me, and I have quite a few projects on my plate that simply need to get done right now, and I'm also in the process of setting up the Pete Complete Discord channel, which I hope to launch later this week. Still, I promise by the time this video goes live I am already working on the next episode, so it probably won't take the usual week for that one to go up. In the meantime, I hope you still enjoyed today's episode, even though we did not complete a mission for a change, and if you did, then I would be happy if you could leave a thumbs up. If you want to support me and my channel further, then you can of course subscribe if you haven't done so already, or you can check out and maybe pledge to the Pete Complete Patreon. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.